Will the Lakers win the 2020 NBA championship? Or will the Philadelphia 76ers bring home their first title since 1983? Look, it's been 19 seasons since these teams met in the 2001 NBA Finals, and both these teams had major offseason acquisitions this summer. If you actually took a look at my Eastern and my Western Conference playoff predictions, you'll see why I broke down these teams as the best teams in their respective conferences. You got the Lakers versus the Sixers in the 2020 NBA championship. It's not going to get much better than that. But only one of these teams can be crowned as the NBA champions. Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now on this journey, we're going to be breaking down the 76ers versus the LA Lakers to see just how they stack up against each other. But before we get into the video, if you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel. I drop new videos every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go ahead and jump right into this thing and see just how these teams stack up. And to me, I think they're kind of very similar to each other based on how their player personnel is. I mean, with the Lakers, you got LeBron James, who's basically a 6'8", 6'9" point guard / point forward. And the Philadelphia 76ers do the same with Ben Simmons, who's basically like a 6'9", 6'10" younger version of what LeBron is. Then they both have these elite big men. I mean, two of the best two-way big men that the game has. The Sixers with Joel Embiid, basically 7'1" monster who can go inside, outside. He can defend, he can rebound, he can pass, he can shoot. Like literally has all the skills that you want. The Lakers just acquired newly Anthony Davis, who basically can do the same thing at the power forward position that Joel Embiid can do. I mean, he could shoot it. He basically was a guard coming up before he had his growth spurt back in high school. So basically, he's a guard in a 6'11" body. I mean, the man can literally do everything that you want on the basketball court. So this team's not only feature inside-outside duos of elite all-star potential, but they have a very similar surrounding core of role players around them. Look at a guy like Tobias Harris, who's really like the third option on that Philadelphia team. He's very similar to the same style of a player that Kyle Kuzma is for the LA Lakers. Both of them are about that 6'8", 6'9". They have that ability to be the offensive guys who can get their own shot, but also can play without the ball, not really being high usage players. Those guys are going to be critical, and one of the reasons why I think these two teams are set up to be some of the better teams in the league is because as those third options, they fit so well alongside these superstars. Adding talent on top of talent, that doesn't always give you the best recipe for a championship. But when you got those guys that understand their roles, who understand how to succeed in their roles, and are willing to accept that, now you start to put together a championship squad. And I think that both these teams have that with Tobias Harris as well as Kyle Kuzma as those third options. But it doesn't stop there. Some more similarities between these teams are both of these teams have acquired former All-Stars, big men that are going to be two-way players. Specifically, they're going to help definitely on the defensive end to play alongside of Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid, that being Dwight Howard for the Lakers and Al Horford for the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, last year, this Philly young core, they won 51 games, which is no small feat for a young core led by Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Granted, they did have veterans in J.J. Redick and Jimmy Butler, who kind of shipped out as they brought in Tobias Harris and replaced it with even Josh Richardson. Now, adding that Al Horford is going to be very key. And last year, I think a guy like Al Horford would have been oh my gosh, he would have been the perfect fit playing alongside of Joel Embiid against Toronto. Listen, that Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol duo in that front court, it was exactly what Toronto needed. It was especially when Joel Embiid wasn't 100%. And that's been a theme with Joel Embiid. He's got to be healthy this year and stay healthy. Because last year he was, I think, a little under 18 points a game, a little under 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. But the problem was he only averaged 37% from the field. And was third in field goal attempts behind Butler and Tobias Harris. Listen, for the Sixers to be able to win a championship, Joel Embiid, and first of all, not even to win a championship, just to even make the finals in this year, he has to be their best player. He has to take the most shots. He has to make the most shots, score the most points. He has to dominate. And if he's going to have any chance of knocking off this Lakers team, Joel Embiid has to bring it, and he's got to do better than 18-9, 3-2. He's got to do better than that. He needs to be in that 25 to 30 point range with shooting on efficiently around 48 to 55%, somewhere in there. He needs to be there. I know he likes to take 3-point shots, which lowers his field goal percentage. But despite that, he's got to get his big keister on that box because there's nobody who could truly guard him one-on-one. Listen, Anthony Davis is a dominant defensive player. He can't guard Joel Embiid one-on-one. Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, these guys will not be able to guard him single coverage. Now, this is the key. They can take turns, and this is what the Lakers are going to try to do, is take turns to wear Embiid down. But Embiid's got to dominate and punish these guys. He's too big. He's too big, he's too strong, and he's too skilled on that box. But if he bails them out and goes out and shoots a lot of those threes, as he's done kind of periodically, then now he can't get those offensive rebounds because they're going to dominate those boards. With all these big guys, I mean, they're going to dominate those. They're going to have the inside position. So you got to get down there and punish them down low. And Ben Simmons, you've got to get better. Last year against Toronto, I think he averaged like 12.7 rebounds and like 5 assists. And he was the 5th leading guy on their team in field goal attempts. You can't have JJ Redick shooting more than Ben Simmons. You're an all-star now. It's up to Ben Simmons to be the second best player on this team. If they want to win a championship and beat this Laker team, he's got to bring it. He has to bring it. And it really starts with shooting. He's got to be able to stretch the floor. We saw what Toronto was able to do to the Greek Freak and how when defenses can start scheming against you when you don't have that ability to stretch the floor, they'll pack the paint, dare you to shoot from the outside. And when you don't have that confidence, which he clearly to this point hasn't, as last year he took 6 threes throughout the entire regular season, and in the playoffs didn't take a 3-point attempt at all. You got to do better than that, Ben. I've been watching some tape. He's working on it. Ben Simmons is working on that 3. And if he's able to get the confidence that he needs to knock that shot down consistently, he's going to be much improved. They put the right pieces around this Philadelphia team. Al Horford, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris. The issue with this Philly team, in my opinion, is their bench. It's not enough talent and it's not enough experience. Trey Burke, he may be their best bench player. I mean, as far as not necessarily based on potential, but based on, what has transpired thus far in their careers. I mean, you got Kyle O'Quinn. You got, what's his name? James Ennis. Mike Scott. He's solid, but none of these guys have done anything in the playoffs. None of these guys have done anything in the playoffs. They may give you 8 points here, 4 rebounds there, 6 points here. Like, these guys, they don't have any game changers on their bench. They don't have anybody, in my opinion, that can come in off that bench and take over a game. Not a series, but a game in a series. Who on that bench could you anticipate to give you a 20-point night every now and then? Or to give you a double-double off the bench? Is there anybody on that team that, when you look at those guys? I mean, listen, I like the big man. I like the big man from Florida State, but he's too raw. He's too raw. We're talking about in the NBA Finals. He's not gonna get out there in that court. The Lakers bench is a big advantage for them. When you're looking at guys like JaVale McGee coming off the bench. I mean, last year, 12-7? He was as a starter. Now you're putting him on the bench. He's solid. He should be solid for maybe 10-6 as a backup. That's solid work in 20 minutes of action, 24 minutes of action. Kyle Kuzma, even though he's going to be the third option, is going to be coming off the bench. That starting unit that the Lakers are going to put out there, I think is going to be something that is going to present matchup problems, but I think Philly's starting lineup can match up with the Lakers starting lineup. Once again, you got Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis against Al Horford and Joel Embiid. That's a very good matchup where there's not a lot of many advantages for the Lakers in that front court. That's one of the things the Lakers are going to be able to dominate a lot of teams is with that athleticism and with that skill on that front court. Philly's got, to me, in my opinion, one of if not the best, definitely one of the best defensive perimeter, defensive interior lineups out there. And I think the Lakers have the other one. Defense, as they say, wins championships. And the Lakers are going to be anchored by defensive big men when you're talking about Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee. These are rim protectors who each of them can average 2 blocks a game next season. Or at least 1.5. Anthony Davis should be good for 2.5 blocks a game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers lead the NBA in shot blocks next year. May even lead the league in rebounds next year. This is going to be a dominant team. Now, keep in mind, outside of that big man trio that they have, I like the addition of Danny Green. I think Danny Green is going to provide that 3-and-D that's necessary, something similar to what they're looking for from Josh Richardson in the 76ers. They're looking for him to be able to hit that 3, which he's been roughly on a career about 36.8% from 3. Danny Green last year was 40-something% 3-point shooter. He had a career high 3-point shooter. I think it was like 45%. It was something ridiculous that he shot last year from 3. And he was one of, as far as defensive efficiency rating, Danny Green was like top 5 in his position. So when you start looking at Danny Green and what he can bring, we know he's a vet. We know he's been there. See, unlike this Philly team, the Lakers have experience. Not only do they have a better bench, which we'll get back to, they have experience across the board. Danny Green's got 2 championships, was in the finals last year. If I'm looking at the Lakers lineup, I think that Danny Green is going to start at that small forward position. Danny Green, Tobias Harris, that's clearly an advantage for Tobias Harris. But Green is a solid defender. Green, he can make Tobias work. He's got enough experience and, savvy as a vet to be able to make it work, and you can't leave him open. See, when the Lakers get to running that pick and roll, somebody's got to help. Somebody's got to help. Ben Simmons and LeBron James are going to be matched up against each other. Now, we've seen these two go at each other about 5 times in their careers, all in the regular season. And LeBron James has dominated this matchup. I think he's averaging like 30 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, compared to Ben Simmons' 15 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists in their matchups. Now, granted, that's all regular season. Granted, it doesn't have any bearing over this particular finals matchup for this upcoming season, but LeBron's the better player. There's no question there. He has that ability to, as a better passer, he's a better scorer, and shooting, we're not even going to compare those two. That's one of the advantages that when LeBron James is at the top of the key in comparison to Ben Simmons, you can't sag off of LeBron James on that pick and roll. You have to push up. And as you're pushing up, that gives that screener that ability to lock and seal you, which now makes it tougher for the big man who's guarding him to pick who he's going to pick, defend off that roll. Once the guy who's guarding the point guard in Ben Simmons, who's guarding LeBron James, once he gets sealed and LeBron's coming off that screen, now Joel Embiid or Al Horford, whoever's guarding that screener, how do you stop that? LeBron's coming to steam ahead of you and can stop and pop for the 3, deep from the 3. He can pull up with the mid-range. He can get all the way to the basket. That's what Ben Simmons is missing in his game. Ben Simmons attacking the basket is on par with LeBron James. At this point in his career, he's on par with LeBron James. It's that mid-range and that outside shot. So reverse that. Put Ben Simmons at the top of that point guard spot with Al Horford and or Joel Embiid setting that pick and roll with him. It's easier to defend him. Now you've got Josh Richardson, you got Tobias Harris trying to space the floor. So from an offensive standpoint, it's there. But it's there against most teams. Against this Laker team, they match up so well with them. Because the way I think the Lakers should run their start lineup once again is with LeBron at the 1, Avery Bradley at the 2, to be able to guard these smaller, quicker guards. And in this matchup here, I would put him on to Josh Richardson. I would put Danny Green on Tobias Harris. Let LeBron and Ben Simmons do their battle. Let Al Horford and Anthony Davis do their battle with Dwight Howard. I would put him on Joel Embiid. Now look at that bench then. Let's get back to this Laker bench. Lakers are able to come in off that bench with experience and Rajon Rondo with that point guard spot. I like him much better than I like Trey Burke. They've got a combination of either a Quinn Cook, who's got championship experience, was just in the finals last year, or KCP, who's a better two-way version, even though he's not as good of a shooter as what Quinn Cook is. You can match him up with Zaire Smith from the 76ers. I like that, favoring the Lakers. At the small forward spot, I mean, however you want to look at it, whether it's Jared Dudley, this is probably a wash. Dudley, like I said, he's going to be kind of spot up, more spot up shooter, kind of play real sparingly. I don't think he's going to have a real big impact, but he's a vet. He's a good locker room guy. And I think that whether it's James Ennis, who'll probably be that backup small forward for the 76ers, okay, we'll call that a wash. Maybe you favor James Ennis because he's younger, better defender. Okay. But then you got Kyle Kuzma versus Mike Scott. I like Kyle Kuzma in this matchup. I think Kyle Kuzma's ability as a scorer, who we know the offense will run through him specifically on that second unit. It's going to be a lot of time he's going to spend playing with Davis and LeBron, but the offense is going to run through him on that second unit when either one of those guys out or both those guys out. Kuz can score. Like, there's no question. Man averaged 18 points a game, almost 19 points a game last year. He can score. And the Sixers don't have anybody coming off their bench that can score like that. Like I said, Rondo is not a scorer, and he's not even as good of a playmaker as he used to be, but the man is still one of the best playmakers in the game. Definitely one of the best pure point guards still in the game. Not best point guards, but pure past first point guards. Rondo averaged, 8 assists last year? 9 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds, and plays a lot of time coming off the bench. And there is a thing that's called playoff Rondo. That's real. Playoff Rondo is real. Rondo's the only player in the NBA over the last 20, 30 years, I think it's 20 seasons, who, his regular season numbers, every stat, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, every stat goes up when the playoffs come. He's the only player that does that. In the last 20 years, playoff Rondo's real. Remember playoff Rondo with Anthony Davis beat and knocked off the Portland Trailblazers when they had home court. There's a chemistry thing here. That's why Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and Rondo, they were trying to bring this thing back together. So you put Rondo on that second unit, and once again, JaVale McGee. So now you got Rondo, who's a pick-and-roll maestro, with JaVale McGee, who's a vertical lob threat, Kyle Kuzma, KCP, Jared Dudley, Quinn Cook, whatever combination like that you want to put out there to spread the floor. I think Philly's going to have a hard time matching up with that second unit. Like I say, experience clearly favors the Lakers. From starters to bench, depth favors the Lakers. And I think the better duo favors the Lakers. Listen, the Sixers to me are the best team in the East. And I think it primarily is based on Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Al Horford and Tobias Harris. They basically have 4 All-Stars. They basically have 4 All-Stars on their team. Whereas the second best team in the East, Milwaukee Bucks, they got the Greek Freak superstar and Chris Middleton, who's a borderline All-Star. It's not enough talent in Milwaukee. It's not enough talent around the East to stack up with this Philly team. But when this Philly team gets to the finals and has to battle this Laker team, that's a tough matchup for them. Not a tough matchup as in they can't match up, because the Sixers are probably the best team at being able to match up against the Lakers, as far as size, as far as versatility. But that experience and that depth, I think, is going to make this finals matchup. I got this being a 6-game win for the Lakers. I've got LeBron James winning finals MVP. I think this is where he steps up and playoff mode activated and all that. I think this is when he does that in the playoffs. Regular season, my sleeper for most improved and the MVP and all of those awards. I'm gonna talk about those awards. Matter of fact, my next video, I'm gonna break down my pick for who I think is going to be the MVP of the league next year. But when it comes to the finals MVP, there's no question in my mind. It's LeBron James. It's LeBron James. And with that win, he'll have 4 championships. He'll have 4 finals MVPs. And as big of a Kobe and a Laker fan as I am, as you can see, this championship is when I think LeBron, in my eyes, a lot of people, he's already done it. A lot of people talk about LeBron and Jordan, which to me, I think is kind of ridiculous. But he will, in my eyes, have officially passed Kobe Bryant in the all-time rankings. I mean, I don't see, if the Lakers stay healthy, and health is key. Listen, I had the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals last year winning 50 games. And up until Christmas, they were basically dead on for looking like they could do that. But health is always something you have to factor in. Look at the Golden State Warriors. How many teams thought the Warriors wouldn't win the championship last year? Because we didn't factor that injury in. So with all injuries aside, that's why I want Embiid healthy, Simmons healthy, Horford, Davis, LeBron. If everything is even, as far as from a health standpoint, I got the Lakers in 6, man. What do you think? Go down to the comment section below and let me know who you would pick between the Lakers and the 76ers to win the championship. Or if you don't like either one of these teams, let me know who you predict to make the NBA Finals. What is your finals prediction? Listen, the NBA season is upon us. This is the best time of the year. You've got college basketballs coming around, as I'm going to be doing some college basketball previews coming up soon. The NBA season, literally, we're talking about weeks away from training camp start. Excuse me, not weeks away. We're talking about a week away from training camp start and weeks away from preseason start. And then we're talking about the NBA season, October 22nd. Don't miss it, because on October 21st, I will be doing my opening night preview of the opening night game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the LA Clippers. Listen, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe now, because we're about to kick this thing off into overdrive. The season's coming. Until then, I appreciate you taking a look at this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you do. Also, hit that like button. Also, tap that notification bell so that when I drop these videos, which do come out every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m., that you'll get that little, you'll get that alert and come on and check us out. Peace.